I know the layout. I'll tell you about it on the way.
Sylvester Stallone is an American actor, screenwriter, and director who has gone from poverty to a multi-million-dollar fortune. In this video, you will learn how he achieved such success and where he is now. Sylvester Stallone, how Rambo lives and how he spends his millions. Sylvester was born on July 6, 1946 in New York. His mother, Jacqueline, or Jackie, was a big fan of actor Tyrone Power and wanted to name her firstborn in his honor. But upon receiving the birth certificate, she saw a different name. The boy's father, Frank, gave him the name Michael Sylvester Gardenzio Stallone. Frank was an immigrant from Sicily, owned a small chain of hairdressers, and was infamous for his violent temper. Jackie, who grew up in a wealthy family of a successful lawyer, connected her life with a man who was a serial cheater and a tyrant at home. The first years of his life, Sylvester spent most of his time in the house of a nanny hired by his parents. He saw them on weekends, but these meetings were very reserved. The boy felt unloved. In 1950, the family had a second son, Frank Jr., and their wealth grew. But Stallone Sr. didn't change, so in 1956, Jackie filed for divorce. Sylvester stayed with his father and tried desperately to earn his love, but it was in vain.
These your parents?
Yeah, that's both of them there.
Is this you?
Yeah, that's me when I was 8 years old. That's the Italian stallion when he was a baby.
He had other problems, like his birth defect. Due to an obstetrician's error, the left half of Sylvester's face remained paralyzed, which affected his speech. Peers bullied him, so Stallone decided that he needed to build muscle mass. For this purpose, he used car parts from the landfill and construction materials. And when he got older, he almost lived in the gym. By 13, Sylvester was expelled from 14 schools because of his aggressive behavior. At 15, he found himself at the Charlotte Hall Military Academy. At the same time, he moved in with his mother, but she would ignore him. In her entire life, she only kissed her son once, right after the divorce. Back then, Stallone started boxing and became interested in soccer. After receiving a high school diploma, he entered college, where he began acting in the student theater. Then in 1965, Sylvester went to study in Switzerland at the American College while working as a personal trainer. Later, there was a theory that he did it to evade serving in the army and being sent to Vietnam. In 1991, the actor filed a libel suit against a tabloid and won the case. Upon returning to America in 1967, Sylvester enrolled at the University of Miami as a drama major, finally deciding to connect his life with performing. In 1969, Stallone dropped out of the university and decided to conquer the New York theaters. The young man tried to act in films, but cameo roles didn't solve financial problems. At some point, Sylvester found himself homeless, sleeping at the train station for 3 weeks. Then he came across an ad about casting for the movie The Party at Kitty and Studs. It was an adult movie, but there wasn't much choice. For 2 days of filming in 1970, Sylvester received $200. When he became famous, the film was re-released as Italian Stallion. After several other tiny film roles, in 1971, the aspiring actor took part in an erotic theatrical production of Score, which was shown in 23 theaters in New York. For the most part, the directors refused Stallone because of his speech impediment, so he earned his living as a doorman, bouncer in a restaurant, and even cage cleaner in a menagerie. Sylvester shared an apartment in New York with his girlfriend Sasha Zak. They married in 1974 and later had 2 sons, Sage and Sergio. The youngest has been diagnosed with autism and doesn't appear in public. The elder Sage managed to star in several films, but died young in 2012 from a heart attack. In 1974, Sylvester got a role in the movie The Lords of Flatbush. According to him, for it, he received 25 t-shirts as a payout, after which he moved to Hollywood. In 1975, the actor starred in the films The Prisoner of Second Avenue, Capone, Farewell, My Lovely, episodes of several TV series, and the fantastic action movie Death Race 2000. For the latter, Sylvester received $700 a week. In March of the same year, the actor watched the Muhammad Ali fight and got so inspired that he decided to write a film script about a boxer who never gives up. He did not leave the house for 92 hours while writing, and the story was a success by pure luck. Stallone auditioned for another movie, but he was turned down. During the audition, he mentioned that he also wrote scripts, and the producers asked him to send them the Rocky script. At first, the studio offered Sylvester $150,000 with the condition that another actor would play the lead role. After long negotiations, the producers agreed that Rocky would be Stallone himself. For this, the actor agreed to reduce his payout to $23,000. They say that at that moment, there was only $106 in his bank account, and he could not afford to keep his dog, so he ended up selling it for $50. To get the pet back, Sylvester had to pay $3,000 and promise a small role in Rocky. By the way, the Bull Mastiff also starred in the film.
Look at his face, 64 fights. Look at that nose. See that nose? That nose ain't never been broken. 64 fights. I've had guys busted on it. I had guys chewing on it, twisting it, punching it. I mean, whack, boom. These guys are hitting my nose all the time. Never broke. I'm very proud of that. It's not rare. That's rare.
Filming was difficult, as was the preparation for it. Stallone even quit smoking when he realized that he couldn't last 5 minutes in the ring without being out of breath. The movie turned out to be incredibly successful and received 10 Oscar nominations. At that time, Stallone became the third actor in history nominated for this award simultaneously for Best Actor and Best Screenplay. The creators won 3 statuettes, including one for Best Film. After the film Fist and Stallone's directorial debut, Paradise Alley, he released the sequel to Rocky. While preparing for filming, Sylvester agreed to compete with his coach in the bench press and seriously injured his pectoral muscle. Since then, half of his chest has been more sinewy than the other. In 1981, the action movie Nighthawks and the sports drama Escape to Victory about a soccer team of World War II prisoners were released. After filming, Sylvester said that playing soccer was harder for him than boxing in Rocky. By the way, the next film released was Rocky III, for which Sylvester received $7 million, followed by the premiere of First Blood.
Don't push it. I'll give you a war you won't believe.
Stallone, as the screenwriter, participated in the casting for the lead role, rejected several candidates, and eventually played it himself. He received $3.5 million for his work. In 1984, Sylvester received a star in the Hollywood Walk of Fame. He also tried a genre change by starring in the musical comedy Rhinestone, for which he received $4 million and an anti-award Golden Raspberry. For the sake of this role, he refused to work in the films Romancing the Stone and Beverly Hills Cop that became super hits, which he later greatly regretted. A year later, critics gave a lukewarm rating to the continuation of Rambo's story, although President Ronald Reagan praised Sylvester Stallone for creating a new symbol for the American Army. For this film, the actor again received the Golden Raspberry. More success awaited Rocky IV, for which he received $12 million and the Golden Raspberry Anti-Award as the worst director.
See, I fight, so you don't have to fight. 'Cause I want you to use your head for something instead of a punching bag like I do.
Your head doesn't look like a punching bag.
Meanwhile, Stallone's wife was tired of enduring her husband's numerous infidelities and filed for divorce, demanding compensation of $33 million. The last straw was Sylvester's affair with Bridget Nielsen. They met on the set of Rocky IV and got married in 1985, but the marriage lasted only 2 years. In the end, Bridget sued Stallone for $1 million. In 1986, Stallone starred in the action movie Cobra, for which he received $13 million.
Hey, dirtbag. You're a lousy shot. I don't like lousy shots. You wasted a kid. For nothing. Now I think it's time to waste you.
Interestingly, the main character's car, a 1950 Mercury Monterey, belonged to Sylvester in real life. 9 years later, the vehicle was stolen from his garage. It was returned in 2009, and along with the car, he got $3 million in compensation. Stallone's next project was the film Over the Top, for $13 million. And in 1988, Rambo 3 was released. For his work, the actor received $16 million and a Golden Raspberry. In the next few years, the films Lock Up, Tango and Cash, Rocky V, Oscar, Demolition Man, and Cliffhanger were released. And for each of them, the actor received $15 million. Sylvester starred in Cliffhanger to overcome his fear of heights.
You want to do it? Do it. Now. You live with it.
At the same time, Stallone appeared as a police sergeant whose mother meddles with investigations in the comedy Stop, or My Mom Will Shoot.
Mom, stay out of this, okay?
Joe, wave to the crowd.
Mom,
Joe.
God damn it!
Hey, you don't swear to your mother.
Hey, butt out! Hey, my mother, relax.
Hey, it's your mother, so you do what she tells you to do.
This film, for which he was again awarded the Golden Raspberry, the actor considers the worst in his career. He agreed to star in it to spite Arnold Schwarzenegger, who spread a rumor that he wanted to get this role himself. Of course, Arnold was just pranking his friend, but Sylvester didn't find out about it until many years later. In the late 1980s, Stallone met model Jennifer Flavin. He called her his ideal, selfless, loving, and so patient. However, this did not prevent Sylvester from constantly having affairs. In 1995, Stallone reined himself in and begged for Jennifer's forgiveness on his knees and hasn't been seen cheating since. A few years later, the couple got married and had 3 daughters. Interestingly enough, when the journalist from the publication Star decided to give Sylvester an album with all his partners for his 50th birthday, it turned out that there were 595 of them. Among the actor's lovers were the singer Cher, who later called the man a Neanderthal, models Linda Evangelista, Cindy Crawford, Naomi Campbell, and Janice Dickinson. Meanwhile, the actor added several movies to his filmography. Among them were the films The Specialist, with a payout of $12 million, action films Assassins and Judge Dredd for $15 million each, and for the film Daylight, Sylvester earned $17.5 million and overcame another fear of confined spaces. To diversify his resume and play a more serious role, Stallone agreed to star in the thriller Copland for only $80,000.
There's got to be a way out of this for everyone. So I said, why don't we all go in tomorrow together?
Freddie, I invited men, cops, good men to live in this town. And these men to make a living.
According to him, it was an interesting experience and he enjoyed it, but it did not help his career in any way, as well as his health, because of weight gain for the role. Sylvester got sciatica, heart palpitations, digestive problems, and headaches. This was followed by the failed comedy, an Alan Smithy film, Burn Hollywood Burn, the cartoon Ants, where the actor voiced one of the roles. In 2000, the action movie Get Carter premiered, for which Sylvester received $20 million. In the same year, he was awarded another Golden Raspberry as the worst actor of the century. Sylvester wrote the script and starred in his next project, Driven, in 2001, for which he received $20 million. This film became famous as the most unrealistic film about motorsports. Then, after the films Detox, with a payout of $20 million, Avenging Angelo, Shade, the comedy Spy Kids 3D, Game Over, for which he received the Golden Raspberry, and the TV series Las Vegas, Stallone returned to his legendary characters in both Rocky Balboa and Rambo.
And there isn't one of us that doesn't want to be someplace else. But this is what we do. Who we are.
In 2007, he was caught importing banned hormones from Australia to build muscle mass. The actor pleaded guilty and eventually paid more than $11,000 in fines and court costs. In 2009, Stallone appeared in the Bollywood film Damn Love, and a year later, he assembled the old guard and presented the action movie The Expendables to the audience.
Yeah, should have shot him when I had a chance.
Big Barney Ross.
Bigger Trent Mouse.
What are you doing? Praying for Brooke?
Could be.
Despite being nominated for the Golden Raspberry for directing, the film received high ratings and paid off 3 times its cost at the box office. In addition, The Expendables made Sylvester the only person in the history of Hollywood who starred in films that got first places in the box office charts for 5 decades in a row. At the same time, on the set, he once again had to struggle because Sylvester suffered 14 injuries, as well as bronchitis and shingles. In 2011, Sylvester's voice could be heard in the film Zookeeper, and in the same year, he was inducted into the Boxing Hall of Fame. Some fans of this sport were not thrilled because Stallone didn't appear in the ring but only played in the movies. By the way, the actor is connected with boxing not only through his role as Rocky. In the 1980s, he was the manager of a boxing match, and in the 2000s, he launched the reality show The Contender, where participants fought for a contract in the professional ring. In 2012, the sequel to The Expendables was released, which turned out to be even more spectacular, and Stallone earns $15 million. And soon, he added another movie to his filmography called Bullet to the Head. Stallone received $12 million for that work. This was followed by collaboration with Iron Arnold in the action movie Escape Plan, for which Sylvester received $10 million. The sports film Grudge Match, the drama Reach Me, and the third part of The Expendables. For all these films, he received $15 million. In 2015, Stallone voiced the cartoon Ratchet & Clank and presented another continuation of the story about the legendary boxer Creed, for which he received the Golden Globe Award.
You're gonna take a beat, you're gonna take this, you're gonna get knocked down, you're gonna get up, and you're gonna see if you got the right thing. But you gotta work hard. I swear to God, if you're not gonna do it, I'm out.
After 3 years, the second part was released, and between them, Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 2 and the cartoon Animal Crackers. Soon, Stallone appeared in such films as Backtrace, the second and third parts of the fantastic action movie Escape Plan. In 2019, the fifth film about Rambo, with the telling title Rambo: Last Blood, was released.
I want you to feel my rage, my hate, when I reach into your chest and rip out your heart!
According to critics, the ending of the story didn't turn out to be very successful, but Sylvester is sure that Rambo can still be called the personification of young soldiers and wants one of the directors to shoot a prequel about his childhood and youth. In 2021, the actor played King Shark in the superhero action movie The Suicide Squad, based on the comics of the same name, and in August 2022, appeared as an aging superhero in Samaritan. Stallone has big plans ahead. He recently returned to television in the crime series Tulsa King, will appear in Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 3, and is preparing to release the fourth part of The Expendables. And he also intends to expand his franchise by shooting a TV series and a female version of the beloved blockbuster. It also became known that Sylvester is preparing a reality show with his family members. Although Stallone mostly appears on screen with a gun at the ready, in real life, after one of his friends was shot, he calls for a ban on guns in the United States. Since childhood, Sylvester has been fond of painting. 2 of his works were even sold for $90,000, but this is only a small part of his fortune, estimated at $400 million. In addition to movies, Sylvester wrote several books about training, tried to launch a sports nutrition company, unsuccessfully, and published the magazine Sly with help tips and interviews with celebrities. This idea was also not very successful, with only 4 issues published. Another business failure happened with the Planet Hollywood restaurants. Stallone co-owned the chain with Bruce Willis and Arnold Schwarzenegger, but the establishments went bankrupt. Realizing that he was best at producing media content, in 2018, Sylvester founded his own film studio. He also sometimes agrees to star in commercials. He promoted the British bakery chain Warburton's and even Japanese sausages. But perhaps the most famous advertising campaign with him is the one for the Versace home collection. He appeared together with Claudia Schiffer as Adam and Eve. By the way, Stallone was friends with Gianni Versace and was a regular guest of the Italian fashion house shows. But the actor refused one advertising offer It was in the late 80s when an American beer brand offered him $5 million on the condition that he cut his hair. Sylvester Stallone spends his millions on an impressive collection of cars. In his garage, there are Bugatti Veyron, Aston Martin DBS, Bentley Continental GTC, Ferrari 612 Scaglietti, Ferrari 599 GTB Florano, Mercedes SL65, Mercedes E-Class, Porsche Panamera, Chevrolet Camaro, Ford Mustang, one of the most popular classic cars, Corvette 68, and even a rare Ford from 1932. We must not forget the luxury Cadillac Escalade. Stallone invested more than $400,000 in the design of this car. In addition, Sylvester loves motorcycles and expensive watches. He has a gold Rolex Submariner with a black dial, the cost of which is $20,000, as well as a GMT Master 2 Rolex made with 18-karat white gold for $7,500. However, one should not think that Stallone spends his millions only on himself. For decades, he auctioned off the original props from Rocky and eventually raised about $10,000 for the Canadian Diabetes Association. Stallone donated several million more to the project to combat childhood epilepsy. In the last decades, Sylvester has lived in a mansion in Beverly Hills. Its interiors varied from pompous neoclassicism with columns, curtains, gilding, and statues to modern bright decor. At the end of 2021, Adele bought this house for $58 million. Today, Sylvester owns a mansion in Palm Beach, Florida, with a pool and an outdoor jacuzzi worth $35.4 million, and an estate in Hidden Hills, California, bought in February this year for $18.2 million. The house has 5 bedrooms with bathrooms, a kitchen with granite countertops, a dining room, and also a stable on the territory. Previously, Stallone owned a villa in Miami with 3 guest houses, which he sold for $24 million. A house in Coconut Grove, Florida. The actor received $16 million for it in 1999, as well as a house in La Quinta, California. Sylvester and his wife bought a Mediterranean-style mansion in 2010 for $4.5 million and sold it in 2020 for $3.1 million. Sylvester Stallone is a whole era in cinema. Despite critical reviews of his acting and a string of nominations for the Golden Raspberry, he became a fan favorite. And what is your favorite Stallone role?
You're not as fast as you think.
I'm beginning to sense that.
Antonio Banderas, where is the main macho man of Hollywood now? The real name of the actor is Jose Antonio Dominguez Bandera. He was born on August 10, 1960, in the city of Malaga, located in the south of Spain. His father, Jose Dominguez Prieto, was an officer in the Spanish Civil Guard, and his mother, Ana Bandera Gallego, worked as a school teacher. The actor has a younger brother, Francisco Javier. Young Antonio didn't show much interest in studying. He was fond of soccer and planned to become a professional athlete. However, due to a broken leg, the young man had to give up his dream. At the age of 14, Antonio and his friends attended a theatrical production of Hair, the story of lovers, which unfolds during the Vietnam War and the active development of the hippie movement, struck Antonio to the very heart. He decided to try acting on the stage. Antonio began his studies and became a member of the City Theater Group. It should be noted that the actor used the stage name Antonio Abascal at first, and then he took his mother's surname as a stage name, adding the letter S at the end. Antonio showed remarkable zeal in acting, but almost no one actually took his passion seriously. When the future actor was 16 years old, he entered the School of Dramatic Art in Malaga and joined one of the city's theater groups. After graduating from the school, Antonio went to Madrid to develop as an actor. There, the young man worked as a waiter, a loader, and even as a model until he achieved inclusion in the troupe of the National Theater. During the same period, Antonio took part in the cultural movement La Movida Madrilena, which translates as the Madrid Movement. He took part in its experimental productions and performances. Banderas was noticed by one of the brightest representatives of this movement, Pedro Almodovar, who invited him to star in his movie Labyrinth of Passion. The young actor got the role of the Islamic radical who was in love with a homosexual Muslim prince. By the way, Antonio's first fee was about 100,000 pesetas. Cooperation with the director gave an impetus to the development of Banderas' career. He began to actively appear in a large number of Spanish movies. In 1985, another impetus to Banderas' career was given by Almodovar's picture Matador. He plays a young, simple-minded boy who takes responsibility for the murders committed by his mentor. The director doesn't personally consider this movie particularly successful. He was keener on working on the film Law of Desire, in which Banderas played one of the key roles. The collaboration between the actor and the director continued on the set of the movie, Women on the Verge of a Nervous Breakdown. Antonio continued to work with other directors, not only with Almodovar. During this period, many films were released with his participation. The charming young actor was very popular among women. In 1987, he married the Spanish actress Ana Lessa, whom he met in a restaurant near the theater. Banderas fell deeply in love and the couple soon got married. By the way, Pedro Almodovar was the best man at the wedding. Soon, Ana gave up her career and devoted herself to her husband. She picked his wardrobe, made the casting schedule, and monitored his diet. Unfortunately, the relationship between Antonio and Pedro Almodovar was deteriorating for a long 19 years. The reason for this was the actor's refusal to participate in the filming of Kika. Banderas at this time took aim at Hollywood. His first American movie was the musical drama The Mambo Kings, where he played one of the main roles. For the sake of this picture, the actor put a lot of effort into practicing pronunciation with an English tutor. He spent 6 months filming in the US and fell in love with this country. All of Banderas' successes at home remained at home. Antonio had to conquer the audience anew. Even though the Kings of Mambo didn't quite meet the expectations of the producers, the Spanish macho man was still noticed. In 1993, Antonio appeared in the melodrama The House of Spirits and in the drama Philadelphia with Tom Hanks and Denzel Washington.
What's the matter with you tonight? Close the logbook. You just... Eh?
This picture was highly acclaimed by the critics and viewers, and for Banderas, it became a lucky ticket to Hollywood. In 1994, Banderas starred in the drama Of Love and Shadows and played the minor role of the vampire named Armin in the movie Interview with the Vampire.
Do you know how few vampires have the stamina for immortality?
1995 was a very productive year for the actor. More and more pictures with the actor were playing in the theaters. Together with Sylvester Stallone, he starred in the crime thriller Assassins, then appeared in the comedy 4 Rooms, and played the main roles in the drama Miami Rhapsody and the thriller Never Talk to Strangers. Robert Rodriguez's Western Desperado attracted attention from critics and the audience.
I'm looking for a man who calls himself Burcho. That's all. But you had to do it the hard way.
The role is considered one of the best works by Banderas in the 90s, and The Kiss by Banderas and his co-star Salma Hayek was nominated for the MTV Movie Award for Best Kiss. By the way, the whole film crew gathered at the shooting of the bedroom scene with the main characters, but eventually only the director and script supervisor could stay in the room. It should be noted that Banderas also showed himself as a musician on the set of the picture. The actor played the guitar in all the scenes where this was required of his character. But the next picture, the comedy Too Much, did not receive such rave reviews, but became special for the actor. On the set, he met Melanie Griffith. They were both married. Melanie was married to Don Johnson, and Antonio was still married to Anna, although by that time, their relationship had cooled down somewhat. He was actively filming in the United States, and his wife preferred to live in Spain. After working together, the actors sometimes met with each other, and Banderas realized that he had fallen in love. He appeared at a social event together with Melanie. When Anna found out about this, she flew to the United States and found Antonio together with Melanie. They failed to improve the relationship, so the divorce proceedings began. But Anna didn't want to divorce her husband. However, when Antonio and Melanie arrived at the actor's homeland, they were received coldly not only by Banderas' ex-wife and parents, but also by the local media, which presented Melanie as a homewrecker. One way or another, on May 14, 1996 in London, Antonio married Melody, and a little later, in September of the same year, their daughter Stella del Carmen Banderas Griffiths was born. By the way, Antonio managed to improve relations with Melanie's daughter from her previous marriage, Dakota Johnson. The married couple had long been considered exemplary. For the sake of her husband, the actress overcame alcohol and drug addiction, and Banderas supported his woman in all endeavors. He tried to dissuade her from plastic surgery and seemed to be an exemplary family man. By the way, it is believed that the actor fell in love with Melanie 6 years before he had met her. It was when he saw her in the movie Something Wild. In 1996, the musical Evita was released, where Banderas worked with Madonna. Playing the lead male role in the movie brought Antonio a Golden Globe nomination and $4 million in royalties. By the way, as the singer admitted, she had long been very interested in Antonio. Once Madonna invited him to the premiere of a film in which she appeared, but he brought his wife there. In 1998, the movie The Mask of Zorro was released, which received high reviews from both critics and viewers. To play the role of Alejandro, Antonio spent 4 months training with the Spanish Olympic fencing team, and according to the coach, became a skilled fencer. For this role, the actor received the Audience Award from the European Film Academy and was nominated for a Golden Globe. Antonio Banderas became one of the biggest stars in Hollywood. Besides acting, he also tried his hand at directing. In 1999, his picture Crazy in Alabama was released, starring his wife Melanie Griffith. The movie was not particularly successful, but it became an important part of the actor's career. In the same year, the action-adventure movie The 13th Warrior was released, in which Antonio played the main role.
You could have killed him at will.
Yes? Why the deception? Deception is the point. Any fool can calculate strength.
In the same year, together with Woody Harrelson, the actor starred in the sports drama Play It to the Bone and also appeared in the comedy The White River Kid. As his popularity grew, his fees also grew. So for the participation in the movie The Body in 2000, Banderas received $12 million. The following year, Antonio became Angelina Jolie's partner on the set of Original Sin.
Liar! Thief! Yes! Yes! Don't you see? Yes! Don't you see? Don't you see I cannot breathe without you?
The sensual movie confirmed the title of sex symbols attributed to both actors, and even Jolie had to refute the information about the affair with the Spanish macho man. In the same year, Banderas accepted the invitation from Robert Rodriguez to become a part of the adventure comedy action movie Spy Kids. And later, 2 more parts of this picture were released. In 2002, Antonio worked with Salma Hayek again on the set of Frida, and also plays the main role in the Franco-Swiss movie Femme Fatale. The movie of the same year, Ballistic: X for Sever, was not a very successful experience. The picture received low ratings. In 2003, a couple of movies with the participation of the Spanish macho man were released. At the end of the summer, the sequel to Desperado, the musician's story, Once Upon a Time in Mexico, premiered, and in the fall, the drama Imagining Argentina was released. On TV, Banderas played the role of the revolutionary Pancho Villa in the HBO film of the same name. By the way, he received the Emmy and Golden Globe nominations for this role. In 2004, Antonio Banderas voiced Puss in Boots in the animated film Shrek 2. The audience extremely loved the charming and hot-tempered Puss in Boots, who became an integral part of subsequent films about Shrek, both full-length and short. By the way, with his sword, Puss in Boots carves the letter P on a tree with 3 swings, which is clearly a reference to Zorro. Interestingly, a year after the release of the cartoon, Antonio reappears on the screen in the image of Zorro in the movie The Legend of Zorro.
Look, I know what you're thinking, but Elena, listen. No, here is me, here is quitting. We're this far apart.
It should be noted that the hot Spanish macho man is not only a wonderful actor, but also a musician. He performs his own vocals in films if they are required. For instance, the song from the movie Desperado became a popular hit.
Soy un hombre muy honrado que me gusta lo mejor.
In 2005, a star was unveiled in honor of Antonio Banderas on the Hollywood Walk of Fame. However, what goes up must come down. Antonio appeared less and less in Class A films, and in the following years, he appeared less frequently on the screen. In 2006, he starred in the drama Take the Lead. The following year, the actor co-stars with Jennifer Lopez in the crime thriller Border Town, and also takes part in the filming of the comedy My Mom's New Boyfriend. In 2008, Banderas played the role of Ralph in the dramatic thriller The Other Man, and together with Morgan Freeman, starred in the crime thriller Thick as Thieves.
Don't even think about it.
Think about what?
Going anywhere near her. I'll rip your heart out, I mean it.
It looks like it's your heart she's not so fond of.
In 2009, the actor underwent surgery for a benign tumor in his back and played in several more movies in the next year. In 2011, a full-length animated picture about Puss in Boots, voiced by the legendary Macho Man, was released, as well as the adventure drama Black Gold. In the same year, the premiere of the film The Skin I Live In took place. The movie became a kind of reunion of the legendary creative duo of Antonio Banderas and Pedro Almodovar. The psychological thriller turned out to be a masterpiece and has received many awards. In 2012, the actor starred in the action movie Haywire and the fantastic comedy Ruby Sparks. In 2013, Banderas once again engaged in voice acting, this time for the cartoon Justin and the Knights of Valor. He also collaborated again with Rodriguez on the set of Machete Kills, and with Almodovar in the comedy I'm So Excited. In 2014, it became public that the wife of the actor, Melanie Griffith, had filed for divorce. The reason she pointed out was that her husband cheated on her with actress Natalie Byrne. They worked together on the set of Expendables 3, but the girl stated that there were no reasons for such accusations, except for Melanie's jealousy. The divorce was quite quick and scandalous. The spouses were actively dividing property. They sold the mansion in Los Angeles for $16 million and divided the profits, and also recalculated the income from projects that were implemented during their life together. As a result, Melanie got a house in Aspen and Picasso's painting The Artist and His Model, and Banderas got a pencil drawing by the same artist along with a pencil sketch by Diego Rivera. In addition, the actor agreed to pay Griffith alimony of $780,000 a year. After the divorce, the actor was credited with a variety of relationships, including with Sharon Stone. Now his girlfriend is the Dutch financier Nicole Kempel, who brought regularity and order to Antonio's life. In subsequent years, Antonio was working in a lot of movies. He starred in the action movie Automata and the biographical drama The 33. He also appeared in the drama Knight of Cups, in the Spanish drama Altamira, in the thriller Black Butterfly, and the action movie Security. In 2015, Banderas became interested in fashion and entered the famous British college Central St. Martin's. According to the actor, becoming a designer was his lifelong dream. By the way, in 2016, he collaborated with Selected. The actor was the designer of a portfolio for men. Also in 2017, the films Bullethead, Acts of Vengeance, and the TV show Genius, which tells the story of the legendary Pablo Picasso, were released. For this role, Antonio was nominated for an Emmy and Golden Globe. Shortly before the filming of the show began, the actor had a heart attack. Everything ended well, but Antonio had to seriously revise his lifestyle. He gave up bad habits, began to exercise more often, and monitored his health. In 2018, Antonio starred in the drama Life Itself, and the next year he appeared in the movie Laundromat. He also collaborated with Pedro Almodovar on the set of Pain and Glory, where the actor played the main role. By the way, this work brought Banderas the long-awaited first nomination for the Oscar, as well as the Golden Globe nomination. In 2020, the actor took part in the filming of Doolittle.
I never understood what Lily saw in you. A common complaint the world over for fathers of beloved daughters. But in this instance, I think we can all agree it is particularly accurate.
Now the actor continues to actively play roles in movies. The filming of the comedy drama Official Competition has already been completed. The main roles in the movie are played by Antonio Banderas and Penelope Cruz. For the summer of 2021, the premiere of the comedy action movie with the star cast Hitman's Wife Bodyguard is scheduled. Uncharted, starring Tom Holland, Mark Wahlberg and Antonio Banderas, is due out in February 2022, and in the fall of the same year, we will see the new animated picture about the adventures of the charming Puss in Boots. Filmmakers also announced the biographical drama Dali and the fantastic thriller Solos. In both movies, the actor is assigned the main role. Now the fortune of Antonio Banderas is $50 million. In addition to movies, Banderas has repeatedly been an ambassador of world brands, including Orbit. The audience liked the funny commercial in which the actor conducts a dialogue with a donut. He also starred in a commercial for Police Eyewear. Also, Antonio Banderas and Olga Kurilenko became ambassadors of the advertising campaign for the new paired fragrances Secret Temptation of the Banderas perfume brand. In general, Banderas is actively involved in the business. Since 1997, he has been producing his Antonio Banderas perfume line. There are already 22 fragrances on the market, 13 for men and 9 for women. Antonio personally gets consulted by perfumers and learns the skill of creating new fragrances from them. In addition, since 2009, the actor has been the owner of a vineyard in Spain. He owns 50% of the Anta Banderas winery in Villalba de Duero, which was originally called Anta Bodegas, and produced up to 1.5 million bottles of wine a year, as well as olive oil. Previously, Banderas was the owner of the Posada de Antonio restaurants, but he gave up this business. Also in 2010, he owned the Jack and Jones by Antonio Banderas team that competed in MotoGP motorcycle races in the Moto2 class. Banderas now supports the Malaga Football Club and the Spanish Socialist Workers' Party. Also, the actor is involved in charity work and is a UN Goodwill Ambassador. In 2019, he opened a new theater in his hometown, which is designed to seat more than 800 people. Antonio Banderas also owns various properties. During his marriage to Melanie Griffith, he owned a mansion in the elite historic Los Angeles area of Hancock Park. They originally purchased the mansion for $4.2 million in 1999, then bought the adjacent plot for $1.3 million and included it in the estate. The interior of the mansion is designed in a classical style. During the divorce, the estate was put up for sale, and just 10 days later it was sold for $16 million. Melanie Griffith got the house in Aspen after the divorce. Located in the mountains, the house is filled with light and comfort. Large panoramic windows, an abundance of wood trim, and decorative details make the rooms lively and comfortable. At first, the ex-spouses planned to sell the house for $10 million. Then they leased it, and in the end, they only got $4 million. During the divorce process, Antonio bought out a stake in their New York apartment from Griffith for $4 million. The apartment with the elegant interior is located in a prestigious building. In 2018, the actor put the apartment up for sale, asking for $8 million. In 2014, it was reported that the actor had purchased a penthouse in Malaga. It is said that in the vicinity of Malaga, Torremolinos, and Benalmádena alone, the actor acquired 7 houses and 14 non-residential properties, including a seaport bar and restaurant. It is known that in 2008, the authorities ordered Banderas to demolish part of the estate called the Seagull, located in Marbella, since the house was built by the former owners without obtaining permits. The actor initiated a legal battle. Banderas now lives in England in a mansion in the county of Surrey. The new acquisition cost him 3.1 million euros. The house has huge windows and beam ceilings. It is filled with light, and the actor simply adores the place. He even rides his bicycle in the forest and the surrounding areas. By the way, in the Banderas fleet, besides a bicycle, we can find a Bentley Continental Supersports, Porsche 911, Cabriolet, Audi A7, and even a private jet. What made Antonio Banderas so successful? What do you think? If you like this video, leave a like and also subscribe to the channel so that you do not miss anything interesting.